He smiled at me while destroying my life, and that was the worst part of it all. Not the lies. Not the betrayal. Not even the way everything I had built slowly collapsed around me. It was the smile, soft, reassuring, familiar, that convinced me I was safe while the ground disappeared beneath my feet. I met him on an ordinary afternoon, the kind you forget until it becomes the beginning of everything. He seemed kind in a quiet way, the sort of person who listened more than he spoke. When he smiled, it felt like warmth, like understanding. I trusted him quickly, too quickly, but at the time it felt natural. He remembered small details about me, asked thoughtful questions, and made me feel seen in a world where I often felt invisible. First, he helped me. Or at least that's what it looked like. He offered advice, introduced me to new people, encouraged me to dream bigger. "You deserve more than this," he would say, smiling gently. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He sounded like someone who wanted the best for me. The changes started small, almost invisible. Comment here, a suggestion there. He questioned my decisions, my friends, my instincts. "Are you sure they have your best interests at heart?" he'd ask, smiling as if he was protecting me. I began to doubt myself. Slowly, the confidence I once had started to crack. When things went wrong, he was always there. He would place a comforting hand on my shoulder and say, "I tried to warn you." His smile never faded. It was calm, patient, almost loving. I thought my failures were my own. I didn't see how carefully he had arranged the pieces. One by one, the important parts of my life began to fall apart. Opportunities disappeared. Friendships grew distant. Rumors followed me like shadows. Each time I asked him what was happening, he smiled and said, "People can be cruel." I didn't realize he was the one whispering into their ears. He never raised his voice. He never looked angry. That was his greatest weapon. While I was breaking, he remained steady, smiling as if none of it touched him. I started relying on him more because everyone else seemed to be leaving. He became my anchor, though I didn't realize he was pulling me underwater. There were moments when the truth tried to surface. Small contradictions. Stories that didn't add up. A look that lingered a second too long. But each time doubt crept in, he smiled and reassured me. "You're overthinking," he said. And I believed him because by then I no longer trusted my own mind. The day I lost my job, he smiled at me while handing me a cup of tea. "This might be a blessing in disguise," he said softly. I didn't know he had been the one sending anonymous emails, questioning my competence, planting seeds of doubt. I cried at my kitchen table, and he watched me with that same gentle smile. When I confronted him, really confronted him, it was almost accidental. A message left open. A name mentioned by someone who didn't know they were revealing anything important. The puzzle finally formed a picture I didn't want to see. My hands shook as I asked him directly. He smiled. That smile was different. Not warm. Not kind. It was calm, knowing, almost proud. "I was helping you," he said. "You would have ruined everything on your own." In that moment I understood. The smile was never for me. It was for himself. The realization hurt more than all the losses combined. He hadn't destroyed my life out of anger or revenge. He did it because he could. Because watching me depend on him made him feel powerful. My pain was his achievement. I wanted to scream, to break something, to make him feel even a fraction of what I felt. But he just smiled, as if my anger amused him. That's when I knew I had to leave. Not to win, not to prove anything, but to survive. Walking away was harder than staying. He had stripped me of so much that I felt empty without him. But each step away from his smile felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. I started small. I told my story to people I trusted. I rebuilt relationships. I learned to listen to my instincts again, even when they trembled. Healing wasn't quick. Some days his smile haunted me. I saw it in strangers, in memories, in my own reflection when doubt crept back in. But slowly, the fear lost its grip. I realized that the smile that once controlled me had no power anymore. Now, when I think of him, I don't feel the same pain. I understand something I didn't before. Not all smiles mean kindness, and not all silence is peace. Some people destroy quietly, politely, with a smile that hides everything you need to fear. He smiled at me while destroying my life, but I walked away while rebuilding it. And this time my smile is real.